Hi everyone, this is Audra with Pathfinder Strong, and today I have a very exciting group of guests with us. We are going to interview the team that does our Pathfinder Wiki. Do you know what that is? Well, keep watching and we're going to learn all about it. Our mission here at Pathfinder Strong is to inspire Pathfinders to build strong programs to prepare youth to be ready for heaven. We want to give you all kinds of tools and ideas that you can use, and today we have a great tool to tell you about that you might be familiar with already, but I think you'll want to learn something new that you probably didn't know before. So these three gentlemen that are on the call today are Jay Seal, Jim, and Jonathan. They're coming to us from Ohio, New Hampshire, and Germany. So we're excited to have them with us. And these are the three gentlemen that are in charge of what you see on Pathfinder Wikipedia. So we're going to have each of these gentlemen introduce themselves, and we're going to start with Jay Seal. There's some questions on the screen. If you'll just kind of tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure, absolutely. Hello, everyone. My name is Jay Seal. Many people call me just Jay. That's easier for you. I currently live in Ohio, in Dayton, Ohio, here in the good old United States. And I'll just go through these 1 through 4. So what is my favorite honor? That's really a tough question. I don't really have one specific one because there are so many. I do have a few that I enjoy. One being the duct tape honor. Actually, it's one of the more recent ones that's come out in the last 10 years, but it's amazing how much you can use duct tape for. I enjoy the origami one. I enjoy also the creation series, which is creationism, biblical archaeology, fossils, dinosaurs. And I have also taught a regional honor. So where I'm from, I was born in Puerto Rico, and they have a coquille honor, which I very much enjoy. Number 2, I am an invested master guide. In the past, I did the PLA and PIA awards also, which is the leadership and the instructor. Those have been integrated into the master guide curriculum nowadays, but I completed those when they were still around. I'm involved with Pathfinders at my local church. I'm the Pathfinder director at my local church. I'm a volunteer with my conference, Ohio Conference. I'm a support coordinator. I help a lot of the Spanish speaking clubs because I do speak Spanish. And I am on the honors committee at the North American division level. And I was a Pathfinder when I was a kid. And one of my, not favorite memories, maybe more memorable moments was when I was in a tent and one of my fellow Pathfinders didn't follow the rules and kept food in our tent. And we ended up having a couple of raccoons visit us inside. So that was quite the experience for me.
So they were not skunks?
They were, no, thankfully they were not skunks. Raccoon.
Did they come in the middle of the night?
Yes, in the middle of the night. And that's an entire story into itself. But that's
when I teach camping skills, I tell them skunk because I found kids don't believe in bears. They just think that's too outrageous of a scenario, but they've seen skunks and they don't want those in the tent.
Yep. So
awesome.
Make sure that you don't keep food in your tent.
Right. Thanks for sharing that with us. We're going to move next to Jim, who's from New Hampshire. If you'll tell us about yourself.
Sure. So my name is Jim Thomas. My favorite honor is CPR because it was in CPR that I learned the Heimlich maneuver, which I had the opportunity to use on my daughter.
Oh.
So Pathfinder saves lives. Heimlich works. And because of Pathfinders, I still have a daughter. So how could that not be my favorite one? My highest Pathfinder rank, I went through all the classes and got all the advanced ribbons and was invested as a master guide. So I guess that's what you mean by that. I am involved in Pathfinders at the local level. I've directed a club I guess I've served 15 years as director, although I'm not currently doing that. I'm kind of the substitute director at my local club right now. We have someone else doing it, and I help her out just to support her as much as I can. I am an area coordinator in my conference. So I really look at it that my role in my local church is because I'm an area coordinator, I help out. I always look at these levels of leadership as levels of service. Service is very important to me. When you are a leader, you are a servant. So I serve the director of my local club to the best of my ability.
I love that.
And
that's a great way to look at that.
like JCL, I'm also involved in the honors committee. And I was invited to sit on the committee because of my involvement with the wiki.
That's right.
Was I a Pathfinder as a kid? No, I was not. I was not raised an Adventist. I came into that as an adult. And as soon as my kids were old enough, we were right there. So all of my kids have been through Pathfinders, and all of them are beyond that now in age. So my youngest is 20. So
Is that the one you saved with the Heimlich maneuver?
yes, that is the one.
That's a great story. All right, thanks for sharing that with us, Jim.
Sure.
Next, we're going to move to Jonathan, who's coming all the way from Germany.
Yeah, so thanks for having me here. Yeah, I think my favorite honor is orienteering, and probably not tying, just because I like the practical stuff at Pathfinders. My Pathfinder rank is currently guide, and I am working on the master guide. And I am involved locally as a club director now for 7 years, I think, and starting at union level with the honors at the moment. Yeah, I'm a member of the Pathfinders since I was 7 years old, so almost 20 years now, and I'm really loving it.
That's awesome. I know that Pathfinders is all over the world, but I think it's cool just to hear that there's Pathfinder clubs in Germany. So thanks for sharing it with us. All right, we have a couple of questions about how your team works together, and I'm going to ask each of you to kind of chime in on number one, and that is if you could just tell us kind of what your role is in helping at the Pathfinder Wiki. JCL,
yeah,
go first, or whoever wants to go first.
Sure. Well, I kind of stumbled into the wiki. And my main role there, I guess you could say, is I do much of the translation to Spanish. When I found the wiki, I was looking for help for my local club, and I go to a Spanish-speaking church, and I realized there was no help in Spanish. So I started, translating most of it, and that's how I met Jim, and he invited me to help him work on the wiki. And I started learning a little bit more about it. So I know a few things here and there about how to edit a wiki, but mostly what I do are the Spanish translations.
Okay. Jim?
Yeah, JCL knows a lot more about wiki than I do about Spanish. So I founded the wiki. We'll talk about that a little more later, I think. But basically, I set it up and learned how to do it. I am a software engineer by day. So that kind of thing is kind of more natural to me. I'm not a great graphic designer, as both of my cohorts here can attest. I never claimed to be, but I'm pretty good at the back end stuff and the organization and making things work. I just can't make them look nice. So I'll hand it over to Jonathan.
Yeah, and that's my job. I tried to make it look nice when I heard about the work Jim and Cecile were doing last year, I reached out to them because I had the same issue as Jacil, just with German. And yeah, that's how all started. And they were in a process of restructuring the wiki. And yeah, 1 month later, after I reached out to them, I was part of their team and helped them with restructuring and the design stuff on the wiki.
Okay, cool. Jason, maybe you could talk about number 2. Are you in need of more help? And if so, how would someone reach out to volunteer their time?
Absolutely. We are always in need of help. The wonderful thing about the wiki is that it's community-based. It is run by the Pathfinder community, no matter what language you speak. Many of the answers that you find in the wiki have been input by contributors from all around the world, just things that they did in their club. They said, you know, this might help someone else. Let me go ahead and put it in here as an answer. The main thing that we really need is just people putting in whatever they know, whatever they can. If you have a favorite honor, or if you just, you know, completed an honor, you found lots of different resources that you think might be of help to anyone else, put it in there. You can go to the wiki, you can edit, no problem. You can make an account, it would be a little easier. But I wouldn't worry so much about, you know, making mistakes. How do I do this? How do I do that? Because we'll take care of it on the back end. All we need is the information. If you have experience, if you have pictures, or if you just have the knowledge, get in there. All the sites have a little link that says edit. You just got to click that and you put in the information that you want to put down. You know, you can do this at any time. As you can see, you know, we're from all different time zones. So if we're in bed and you're awake, you can do it at that time. Or if we're awake and, you know, it's late for you, you can do it. We're just looking for more contributors. You know, the wiki is not just us. It's meant for everyone to participate and to contribute.
Great.
Yeah, and I want to step in here. If you need help with it, we have set up a Discord server recently, and it's growing fast. And yeah, just come and join us there and ask for our help. Or also, if you find something that isn't working as it should, just reach out to us there. You don't need an account. You can just log in. It's not temporary, or you can make it a permanent account too. So that's a really good way to reach out to us and ask for help.
Yep, the Discord link is in the bottom left corner of every page.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, on the wiki. So if you
Right.
can't find it, you're not looking in the wiki.
All right. Thank you. Next, we'd love to know a little bit about the history of the wiki. And I think, Jim, since you said you founded it, it'd probably be best if you answered these questions. How'd you get started and kind of what is your mission?
Well, I stumbled upon the Pathfinder forum, which was at pathfindersonline.org back in the early to mid 2000s. And I was interacting with people there, just having a good time. And there came a day when I was asked to teach the computer honor. And so I cracked open the requirements and looked at it. And I mean, I'm an electrical engineer and I write software for a living. And there were requirements in there that I didn't know what they were getting at. And so I thought, well, I need to go look at the answer book. And back in those days, the answer books were in 3-ring binders that were about that thick. And they were stored at the church. Sometimes they kept them under lock and key so people couldn't go get them. And so I went into the closet and I was looking, and there's not one for the vocational series, which is where the computer honor is. And so I went on to the Pathfinder forum and asked the question, hey, where's the vocational answer book? And the answer came back, there's not one. Well, I had just stumbled over Wikibooks about the time that happened. If you don't know, Wikibooks is a sister project to Wikipedia, where Wikipedia's mission is to write an encyclopedia. Wikibooks' mission was to write textbooks. And this seemed like it fit right in. And so I said, well, maybe we should write one. And I didn't say maybe I should write one. I said maybe we should, as in everybody on the forum, because, you know, it's a community thing. And so Mark Ophil, who's the chairperson of the honors committee, now he is anyhow, he ran the forum, and he encouraged me to not limit it to the vocational honors, but structure it so that we could write answers for every honor. And so I set it up and I started creating the resource and inputting the requirements and paying very particular attention to respecting copyrights, which is very, very important. Because if you violate copyrights, you can get takedown notices and then you're in trouble. So you have to take the stuff off. And just for any of you watching who are thinking about contributing to the wiki, that's important, and it is something that we watch. So don't just copy and paste stuff that you find on the internet into the wiki. There's certain sources of information that you can use. Anything you find on Wikipedia, you can bring in, and anything in the public domain. So we do watch that, and we are pretty careful about it because it is, it's the kind of thing that can destroy the project if we weren't watching it. You know, we don't want to get anybody sued. So I started this project and people started contributing. I was basically curating answers out of Wikipedia, just reading through it and bringing it in and setting up the structure. And I guess I worked on that every day for 2 or 3 hours a day for about 5 years. So that's what I did with my evenings. Instead of watching TV and eating ice cream, I would be writing the wiki. And I guess, JCO, when did you come in on it? It was probably around 2010.
No, I think it was a little bit later.
Maybe a little later.
I had just become a father, so and
Okay.
yeah, it was probably a little bit later. And when I came on, you know, I had a lot of questions on how can we make this, you know, language specific. And on top of that, I was looking a lot at the information that was already in there, thinking about how we can present it differently. And yeah, Jim and I just started working together on many things.
So JCO created an account when we were still on Wikibooks. And then in 2012, the North American division introduced the Investiture Achievement Curriculum to replace the AY curriculum. And they were going to need instructor helps with that. And I knew that the way that Wikibooks operated, you know, that's a secular institution. And they have a neutral point of view policy. And Jesus Christ is my savior is not a neutral statement. And so there's no way you're going to get that kind of thing onto Wikibooks. And so I knew Mark was involved at the NAD level. And I suggested to him maybe the NAD would like to adopt this. And so Mark started making connections, and pretty soon we had Armando Miranda involved, and they were talking up the chain all the way through legal, and we explained what the license was of the material. It's all Creative Commons. And that has legal implications that had to be cleared by the NAD before they would accept it, but they did accept it. And so in 2012, we moved it over to their server and abandoned the Wikibooks site. I actually did try to get that deleted from the Wikibooks site, but they don't want to delete it. And so it's just kind of got what I call severe bit rot at this point, because we're not maintaining it and it just kind of crumbles. And so if any of you who are watching are still using the wiki books, go to clubministries.org, which is the official Pathfinder and Adventurer portal for the NAD. And there are links to the wiki from there. We're at wiki.pathfindersonline.org, but clubministries.org will link you there. Just, you've already got that bookmarked. And compare the two, and it will open your eyes, especially since Jonathan came on board. So the NAD adopted it, and we added the Investiture achievement stuff. And my goal was always to make this serve the world. And so we also have the AY materials there that is used outside of the North American division. And we're just trying to maintain this worldwide resource. But the wiki started feeling a little bit creaky, and we wanted to do some different things to it. We had this major restructuring plan in mind, which has now been realized. So there were 3 major events in the wiki: the start of it at Wikibooks, the NAD's adoption, and then the complete overhaul we did of it, which was released last August in 2021. Well, about the time that Jay Seal and I were talking about what we wanted to do, and one of the goals that we had was that when we write the requirements for an honor, we wanted it so that we go to one page and we can change the requirement, and every place that uses that requirement automatically gets the same information. So the requirements are done as a single point of definition. And because the requirements are voted on by a committee at the NAD level that we sit on, actually, we are privileged to sit on that committee. The words are very carefully chosen. Those are locked down, and you have to have administrator privileges on the wiki to change them. So that was a new feature that we added. So there was a lot of restructuring done. And while we were thinking about this, Jonathan shows up and he says, "Do you mind if I translate this into German?" And we're like, "Are you kidding? Of course we don't mind. We would love to have this in German. And if you're watching and you know French, we need this translated into French too. So any French speakers out there, come on over."
Mm-hmm.
Well, it turns out Jonathan's a web designer, and I do mostly embedded development. So the kind of software I wrote is what you find in like a thermostat. There's no beautiful graphical interface on that. So I don't do user interfaces, I do back end stuff, and it looked very back end, and I know that it did. And it did for years until we got Jonathan, and he came in with his incredible skills, and he's really made this thing pop, and we just love what he did. But the reason I bring that up, we love Jonathan, and we just love what he's been able to bring to the table, and how he's been able to help us transform this wiki into something that's just incredible. But there are other people out there, and we have open minds, and we want people to come in and contribute. And Jonathan put some ideas out, and it's like, well, I'm not sure, but I said, tell us more. And he did, and we said, well, yeah, why don't you go ahead and show us some of this? And we just loved what he did. So we have very open minds, and we love for people to come in with new ideas. So that's why we say this wiki belongs to the community, because here Jonathan is, he's got root privileges on our server now.
Awesome.
So,
and there's a lot of
that's
history
the
there.
history.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That takes us up to where we are today. And then the next question you had was, what is the mission of the Pathfinder Wiki? And we don't really have a formal mission statement, but we talked about what is our mission just the other day. And for us, it is to create a resource that Pathfinder leaders can use to bring children to Jesus Christ. And that's what we do.
That's great.
That's the goal.
All right, thanks for sharing that with us.
Sure.
We have 3 final questions, kind of just for fun, for you. And the first one is going to go to Jonathan. What would be a new honor that you would like to create that currently doesn't exist?
Yeah, in regards of the topic we are talking about, I would probably create the honor how to create a wiki.
That's a good one.
Sounds like we need it. I'll expect to see that coming out in the next year or so.
Yeah, you need to talk with Cecile and Jim. They are sitting in the honor committee, so
All right.
they are the professionals on that one.
Question number 2 is going to go to Jim. How can leaders use Pathfinder Wiki as a tool to get Pathfinders ready for heaven?
Okay, Pathfinders, the honors, I think, are a very important part of Pathfinders. I always looked at the Investiture achievement as kind of the skeleton of the program, and the honors as the muscles that you hang on the skeleton. So the honors are a very important part, but the wiki does both honors and Investiture achievement. And it's there to help people have the confidence to lead a Pathfinder club, to get in there and participate. So if you don't know something about an honor that the kids want to learn, or you don't know how to teach the Voyager class, there's stuff in the wiki there to help you through that. And you just have to go there and look at it. But it's more than just your local club, because, I didn't put any of the answers in the horsemanship honor, for example, because I can spell horse. But if you relied on me to tell you how to stay safe around horses, then you're probably going to die. So I have no business in that. I'm not a welder, so I didn't put anything in the welding honor. But there are people out there who know stuff about horses and know stuff about welding. And when you get involved in the wiki and using it as a tool, and there's things that there are things that nobody who has edited the wiki know about, that you know about. So you can use the tool to reach the world, and you can expand your reach beyond the local club. And so we really just beg for people to do that. You don't have to know how to write wiki code and what the markup looks like. You just go in, click the edit button, and start typing answers. And then we'll see that because we monitor the wiki every day. We look at the change log, and we'll go see what people are doing. And if the formatting is wrong, well, we know how to fix the formatting. And we're just happy to do that. We are overjoyed to do that, just so that somebody adds good information, especially about something that we're not experts in. I exhausted my knowledge a long time ago. So
that's great. That's
almost
something
everything
I didn't know.
Almost everything I know is already in there.
That's great. I mean, I think a lot of people don't realize that they can just go click in and add things. So that's great.
You do have to have an account to edit on the wiki. And that's a spam control measure.
Yeah.
So when you have something open for editing, the spammers find out, and they get in there and they vandalize the site.
Right.
Put in all kinds of links that have no business on a Christian website. So we do require an account to be created. But it's not hard to do.
Okay, thank you. All right, question number 3. We'll wrap up with JCL. Where do you see Pathfinders in 10 years?
Wow. Well, 10 years ago, Pathfinders was still around. I believe 10 more years, we're going to have even more Pathfinders. Honestly, I see Pathfinders becoming even more notable worldwide. just now, when we think about now, it recently came out, I think a couple of years ago, the country of Jamaica uses Pathfinder curriculum in their schools, in their public schools.
Wow.
The South American division, their Pathfinder clubs are so large, they have so many, that when they do the division-wide camporees, they have to divide it into two parts. Like you have to sign up for either part A of the camporee or part B, because it's so big there. Brazil has a national Pathfinder Day as part of its national holidays. It's spreading like wildfire in the African countries. And you're starting to see clubs pop up in very remote places where Christianity is not as popular, places like Egypt, the region of Kurdistan, which is around Turkey and Iraq. So I see Pathfinders becoming a very important resource and tool for the church to use to reach its youth worldwide. And I really think that Pathfinders is going to become something even more important than it is now.
Oh, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. All right, gentlemen, we just want to say thank you for your time this evening. Thanks for sharing your knowledge and a little bit about Wikipedia and how it started. We appreciated getting to know you. I'm just going to echo what they already said and say, you know what, hey, if you have any knowledge that you could give to these gentlemen to help the Pathfinder Wiki, please jump out there and edit on the wiki site and add things, add answers, and they'll make it look pretty. So anyway, go out and give Wikipedia a try. Let it be a great resource for you. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share on this video. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.